Yo, what is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to episode 8 of Tracksuit to the Top, here with Lewis FC in the Ryman Premier League. And today I have for you guys our last game of the season against VDC. If you watched last episode, you'll know what's coming. If you didn't watch last episode, go check it out. It was against Bury Town, but in case you've closed your eyes and you've not noticed the league table, we are top of the league with one game left, 8 points clear. A plus 57 goal difference, something crazy happened in these last few games. Let's get on to that. So we have won the league, which is a fantastic step forward, and I'm pleased to say that we took the momentum from the Bury game into our last 5 games of the season. As you can see here, we've only slipped up once, drawing 3-3 with Harrow. So anyway, looking at these games, you can see here we beat Canvey Island 5-1, a fantastic result. Branford grabbing 2. Joe Robinson, of course, the regen who I kind of drew attention to last episode, grabbing another goal. He has hit the ground running at the club, and he got a goal here as well. We only had 7 shots on target, but we really made the most of the opportunities presented. George Branford grabbed himself 2 goals, both of which were free kicks, which for, I guess, a player with 8 free kick taken and 11 technique was kind of somewhat surprising, but he made the most of his opportunities, and he actually grabbed a fair few goals in this kind of late run of form into the end of the season. The next game was a 3-3 draw against Harrow. Kind of unfortunate, this one. We did concede very late on. We deserved to win this game. It was a shame that it came down to, I guess, us drawing and ultimately us conceding in the 90th minute. You can see, looking at it, we were actually 2-0 up before going 3-2 up, but we couldn't hold on. Although Darian Nevin did get man of the match, and this guy's really been one of the best players this year for us. He's had a fair few injuries, but when he has played, he's been superb. You can see here a 7.58 average rating, 17 goals, 12 assists. And I mean, if we look at his injuries, he's had a few. You know, he's been out for essentially 4 months of the season, and he's still the club's top goal scorer. He's been absolutely incredible. And I'm pleased to say that in these last few games he kind of kept fit and he continued to score goals for us. In this game, as I mentioned, Branford got a few more goals. He got one here. Sam Cole as well, who's been a very good player for us at left mid, continued his fine form into the end of the season, which was really pleasing. 8 assists for this guy, 14 goals for a left midfielder is pretty darn impressive. But Jack Randall led the goal scoring way in this game, grabbing to himself the 22-year-old former Crystal Palace employee in his first club for almost 4 years. He really hit the ground running for us, and he's played well. Again, he had a few injuries too, but 16 goals in 31 games is pretty darn impressive, and again, it was really impressive. The next game was against Peacehaven, one of the teams right down there at the bottom of the table. And this game, we won 7-1 despite missing a penalty. As you can see here, Alex Reed grabbing a hat-trick. The 16-year-old, one of the young players who I brought in, I decided to give him a chance this game to really, I guess, stretch his legs. And 3 goals kind of gives you an idea of the contribution he made. He was superb for us, a very good player. Joe Robinson, again, the young right mid, getting a goal for us here. You can see 4 goals, 3 assists in 7 games for him. He's been superb, and he's kind of been listed as our key player, and he's certainly looking like he could be a key component of my plans going forward, and Nevin grabbing a brace too. So that was a really good result, 7-1, no matter who you're playing. In the last game, we beat Winchgate and Finchley 3-2. This is a good result as well. We actually came back from 2-0 down to win this game. A really, really impressive performance. You can see here Sam Cole, Blueden and Joe Robinson with the goals. Robinson getting that late goal, and he's got some key goals for us, and that was another one for him there. And that secured us a win that secured us the table. Looking at it here, Maidstone have actually leapfrogged Bury, but if we look at Bury's recent form, of course, we were equal on points with them. Following us beating them 5-0, they've really struggled. They've only won 1 of their last 9 games, and that was in their most recent game. But before that, 8 games without a win was pretty poor form, and they really tailed off. And it's seen us become champions. And as you can see here, goals for 113, which is a league record, which is incredible. And we also have one of the best defences with only 56 goals conceded. All in all, it's been a fantastic first season at the club, and I'm incredibly happy with the direction we're moving in. Looking at the average ratings here, Alex Reed, of course, the youngster who I mentioned, has really come into his own so far this year. Ben Bacon, a player who I signed fairly recently, he's hit the ground running as well in midfield. As you can see, 6 appearances, 4 assists, a 7.82 rating for him. Really pleased to see these young kind of players who we've brought in, even in the few games they've played, because I mean Bacon and Robinson have played 5 and 7 games respectively. They've played very well in those games, and perhaps with Reed and George it's a little bit too soon to kind of draw too many conclusions from their average ratings, having only played 2 games each, but certainly Bacon and Robinson playing very well. Darian Neven, the kind of player who's been with us throughout the season with the highest average rating, I've already drawn your attention to him, but he's been probably the best signing we made this year. Henry Muggeridge, who was a player who was already at the club when I joined, has been superb. He's now signed a new contract, as you guys saw last episode. He's got 14 assists from right back, which is pretty darn impressive. And despite having an injury himself, to make 40 league appearances is very, very impressive for him. Only 21 years old, certainly a player who could be at the club for years to come. Leek Bluden, a player who stepped up to the mark when Jack, Randall and Neven were both out injured. A player who I didn't really have in my mind as a player worth perhaps keeping a real eye on, but he's played superbly when he came into the first team. He doesn't have the fastest legs on him, but he certainly knows how to finish, and 14 goals and 7 assists kind of shows the influence he's had on our team. At the back, Lewis Tallack, who of course was our young centre-back signing at the start of the year on a free, has played well. A 7.25 average rating for him. He's not committed and contributed too many goals or assists to us, but he's just been an absolute rock at the back. And that's kind of been the general trend this year. It's been a good, solid team performance. When you look at it, yes, Neven has got 20 goals himself, but there are plenty of players. In fact, there are 5 players all with double figures in the kind of goal-scoring column here. And looking at the assists have come from kind of everywhere, which is really pleasing to be able to say. So, that's the club. Looking at the players on contracts, if I just highlight the players out of contract at the end of the year, it kind of gives you an idea of where we kind of sit. We're going to be freeing up a fair bit of money. There are some players here who have played a lot of first team football who I'm still contemplating extending the contracts of. But all in all, we are going to be kind of cutting down the squad a fair bit for this coming year, because right now we have kind of a core squad here, players who I really like, who have at least got 1 year left on their deal, and it's really going to be important that I kind of cut down the squad to help with the finances. So speaking of the finances, we are 31 grand in the red. Of course, the nice FA Cup run we went on has helped us immensely. Because of the kind of change in FM15, whereby you are given your budgets for the coming season as soon as your kind of final league places secured, you can see here that our wage budget has currently been set at 6k. So looking forward to next season in the Conference North or South, or it will be the Conference South, we're looking like we're going to be in a quite good position, maybe to bring in a few fresh faces, but I do actually want to commit largely to sticking with the players we currently have. So anyway, today we have one final run out against VCD. It's going to be an interesting game just for us to play. Just a quick look here so you guys can see the overall board happiness. They're absolutely delighted with how we've been at the club. Looking at the fan form, so many players playing very well for us. In terms of overall transfers, you can see here the general ratings. Robinson and Bacon been the big standout players. Mason Bush as well, people have picked up on. He played for us in January, or rather signed for us in January, and he's played a fair few games, and he's done a good job for us when he has played. So anyway, as I mentioned, we are playing a team right at the bottom of the table this game. So I'm actually going to mix our team up just a little bit. I'm going to let players like Reed, who have only played a few games for us, come in. I'm also going to let a few of the real young players, players like David Proctor, who's actually a regen who we produced at our academy. I'm going to give him a chance to play today. He's got some okay stats. He's probably not going to be a long-term option, but, you know, it's always nice to give the younger players just a little run out, give them a chance in the first team. So looking at our overall team, in fact, my entire midfield is going to be made up of 16 and 15-year-olds, and Neven's actually going to be the oldest player in the final third, aged 18. But it's a real opportunity for some of these players just to show me what they're kind of made of, give them a little bit of a run out in the first team. And I'm going to go with this team. We're playing a team near the bottom of the table. I'm very hopeful that these players can come through it. A lot of these players probably will never make it in the first team. There's a few like Bacon and Robinson who will certainly be key components of my team next year. So this is a chance for some of them to prove themselves against somewhat weaker opposition, as we are going to be making a rather big step up next year into the conference. So all in all, I talk a little bit about our plans for next year. We are going to be going into the Conference South. Ideally, I'd like to be going for the playoffs in the division. The Conference North and South are incredibly tough divisions to get out of, just like the Ryman Premier League, in terms of there's only one automatic promotion spot and a playoff, and you can very easily get stuck in the playoffs for a little way and kind of a long period of time without really making too much progress. So hopefully we're going to make the step up next year very well. We've got money in the bank in terms of the wage budget. I am going to be closely monitoring our club finances to make sure that we don't end up spending too much. But in terms of some of the players we've got in, we're playing well. We've got good players. I'm going to be largely keeping my faith in the players we've had because they've played very well in this league, and I think some of them will certainly make the step up. If there was one position I'm particularly going to be looking maybe to add a player or two to, it's probably going to be the centre-back position. I think we've got a good goalkeeper in Banks. I think at right back, Henry Muggeridge has done well for us. At left back, we've got Stephen Page, who's played really well, just a really well-rounded off player. Talak, as I mentioned, at centre back has been a very good player for us. In terms of he's just a very good player. But then in the other centre back position, we've had Alex Mullins, who this year hasn't played that much for us. I mean, he's played 30 games, but he's not been incredible, and he's not a world-class centre-back, and he's on a fair bit of money a week, so he's probably not going to be sticking with us. So I kind of want someone to fill in that void. In terms of the midfield and kind of higher up the pitch, I'm pretty darn happy with the players we have. I'm not too worried. I did not mean to tell the players I was happy either. And now I've just confused it. Right, we've fucked up the team top for the end of the season because I'm rambling too much and talking too much about my plans for the future. Hopefully that's not going to cost us here because I don't really not want to beat these guys. But yeah, essentially what I'm saying is defensively I think that's our main weakness, if you can call it that. Overall, I want to add a few just high quality players in every single position on the pitch. You know, a really nice ball-winning midfielder would be good. If we could get a goal scorer for the coming season, maybe someone who's already proven himself in the conference, North and South, that would be ideal. But yeah, we're kind of just going to go with the flow, I think. It's a tricky division, as I mentioned, to get out of. I don't really have any immediate expectations for next year. It's going to be a case of kind of see where we are maybe after 10 games, and then we should have a better idea of exactly what our target should be for the coming season. But as I mentioned, I'd like to reach the playoffs, top 5, at least a top half minimum expectation, but we'll see. We'll see. So looking more into the present of this game, we are playing absolutely awful, if I'm honest. VCD are all over us. I'm going to make some tactical changes. I'm going to go more attacking. I'm going to bring on a few of the less young players. It was always a bit of a kind of, not a mess around game this, but I certainly wasn't necessarily expecting us to be absolutely outplaying them with the players I chose to kind of bring onto the pitch. But I don't really not want to win it. So we'll make those changes there. Just make 3 straight changes for more regular first-team players in the final third. Defensively, we're not looking too bad this game. I mean, they've certainly had the better of the play, but I'm going to go more attacking, chase this game later on. If we get a goal, we get a goal. If not, then it's a slightly boring way to end the season, but ultimately, I can't complain too much with the players because a few of these players, as I mentioned, are probably never going to really feature in the first team. There's a few players who I wish could have performed better here, but no point in dwelling on that too much. But all in all, really happy with how we've done so far. Right now, obviously, with this being the Tracksuit to the Top series, I could potentially move on clubs. I don't really have any intentions to do so immediately here at Lewis. I feel like we're making very good progress at the club. Very happy with the squad at our disposal. Happy with the progress that's been made in the first year, considering our minimum expectation was a respectable league position. I feel like the transfers that we brought in, some of the players have really played well this year and certainly made the difference in terms of helping us reach perhaps the more lofty expectations I had for the squad compared to the chairman. And I think that's going to do it. That's a great result. And not a great result, sorry. It's been a great season, not such a great result. As you can see, Bury Town actually in second place. Unfortunately for them, they're going to be stuck in a playoff dogfight with Maidstone, Hornchurch and Hampton and Richmond. But that's a clean sheet. I can live with that. I'm trying to see the silver linings because all in all it's pretty disappointing. But a few players made professional debuts, which is nice. So anyway, it's going to be interesting to see what this coming summer brings. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this series so far. Thank you so much for your amazing support so far on this series. Only 8 episodes in, but 1 season through, and I'm already in love with this save. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it too. It's certainly something that I've missed doing these lower league saves. Obviously I did the Arsenal save to kick off FM15, so going a little bit back to my roots for you guys who have been around on my channel for a fairly long time. I say a fairly long time, it's going to be about 2 years in this kind of next week, which is crazy. So just thank you so much for your support. Hopefully you're enjoying this series so far. If you happen to be new to my channel and you have no idea why you've watched to the end of this video, subscribe. And other than that, it is me, Jack, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.